All right, everyone. Episode 186 of the Fallatonians. Eric in Overland Park,
Baby,
Kansas.
baby, baby,
Ped
please.
in
Baby,
the
baby,
Echo
baby,
Arena,
please.
Liverpool,
Baby, baby,
after he
baby,
just dyed his hair from
please.
ginger to
Do,
blonde.
do, do, do,
And
do. Baby, 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 please.
what the heck are you
Baby,
singing, dude?
baby, please. Baby, baby,
Are you
baby, please. I'm singing a song to our new overlord.
a new overlord?
President Justin
I
Bieber. It's like in the Lego movie. He's business president Justin Bieber. Get him on board. Sell some shirts to young ladies and
you
adolescent
did
gay
say
men.
shirts. You just said say shirts right there, right? Not. I forgot the bleep button if you didn't say shirts,
I
but
said shirts. I said
okay,
shirts, Eric.
okay. Whew. I was I've spent my entire adult life trying to avoid the musics of
Eric,
those like Kesha and Justin Bieber and
you've
One
spent your
Direction.
entire life avoiding pop culture, Eric. Let's get it
Yeah,
right.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. If it's popular, it's crap. I don't like it.
There you go. There you go. Eric said it. If it's
That's
popular, it's crap. And that, my
that
friends, is why you are an Evertonian.
exactly. That is one of the reasons. Nobody liked them, so I thought it was the best thing to do. Why not subject myself to even more just horrible sadness? I mean, I live in Kansas. Can it get any worse than that? Oh yeah, live in Kansas and support Everton. Sounds great.
Can I just say that lad's one sort of picture, or the pictures with that lad wearing that kit, is like more publicity in one picture than Everton have had in years. Those pictures of him wearing
Why don't you try the entire existence of Everton?
that one picture is gone more viral than anything that Kitbag have ever done in their entire span of working with Everton or not working with Everton, whichever way you want to look at it. Those pictures are worth a fortune.
Yeah, and
I have seen two tweets.
some paparazzi probably got paid for them too.
I have seen two tweets in 3 days, I think, from the club. What makes it worse is the pictures came from him playing in a game at Robert Earl's resort on his island. Yes, people, we are a team that struggles to buy players, and one of our directors owns an island in the Caribbean. Yes, he does. So not only that, but
apparently he owns a full range of Everton kits in varying sizes too.
He does. He's the only person in the Americas who can get Everton kits and socks. So this suggests that he must have asked the club at some point for those kits. Therefore,
or went straight to Kitbag or straight to Umbro.
No, Umbro didn't know anything about it. I'll tell you that right now. They didn't, because I know. And therefore, he knew that Justin Bieber would be wearing an Everton kit. Forgot to tell the club that Justin Bieber, who has 58 million followers on Twitter, people, he retweeted a picture of himself wearing an Everton kit. It was retweeted 45,000 times. Right? I'm afraid you cannot buy publicity like this. He forgot to tell the club, oh my God, Justin Bieber is wearing an Everton kit, playing in a game with other people wearing Everton kit. Why wasn't this all over the website? I don't care if you hate Justin Bieber. I don't care if you love Justin Bieber. I don't care if you have got whatever feelings you've got about seeing celebrities who are not fans of the club. Yes, we know he's not a fan of the club. We're not stupid. We put pictures on, and it's getting retweeted by girls who are prepared to self-harm themselves as this lad cries. This is where we're going. And yet, the club were not aware of this, and basically woke up in the morning and went, oh, look, we've had a busy night, but there was no one here to deal with it. It took people like idiots like me who were up all night to put these stories out that were picked up by major American sports news agencies because they
Right.
did, and they even mentioned us on it.
With our handle tagged in the tweets and
Exactly.
in the articles.
It's been picked up by the BBC, and our
Right.
I've been put on it. We've been put on it. Other people have been put on it. Who put? Where was the club? Where was the club when this happened? I'm not being funny, but this is like really serious. Where was the club when this happened? Why didn't they have like a proper thing on the website saying, "Oh, Justin Bieber, blah blah blah"? It can be nonsense. It's that time of the year. It doesn't matter. It's still Justin Bieber wearing a bloody
Right.
Everton kit. Put it on the website. Put his name on the back of it, and
sell them.
Sell it to those 45,000 people who've retweeted it. Oh my
You
god!
mean girls?
This really, honest to God, this kind of thing makes me absolutely mad. That we just don't have the people
Ped,
who
we
just
don't want to make money that way. We don't want to make money that way.
I don't care if we make money from bloody anything. Just
We're not West Ham.
oh my god, this is what puts you in. This is
it's not Brand. It's not Russell Brand. It's not Katy Perry before they split. It's not the business that the West Ham owners are in. It's Wholesome Football Club, Ped.
Whoa.
We don't have to use the pop star bad boy icons out there. We stick with Fandango instead. That's what I don't get. That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
Is Fandango's over for like 2 days playing at the Liverpool Echo Arena, and so the club brings them in and does a Fandango shirt.
This is the thing. This is a guy who had was tweeting and stuff and basically ripping into the club because they wouldn't play his music, and he was saying all kinds, and the next minute the club think, this would be a really good idea to get exposure. You're talking about one of the biggest stars in the world, and as much as no one likes him, and as much he's got this curse on him, he put a picture of himself wearing an Everton kit, and it got 45,000 retweets.
We put that same picture out, and and we don't have any followers compared, and it's all over the place.
We're getting girls like retweeting us like mad, whose like hashtags are like Belieber, whatever, and they're all retweeting our picture, and it's gone madly viral. We've had, it's gone on like the BBC. I've done a feature on it. Like all the major sports and whatever have all done features on it.
Right.
It does. Oh my God.
What I want to know is why can we
every hour with this on saying hashtag Bieber or hashtag Believers. I don't care. I honestly don't care. This is what puts you out there. This is what gets you publicity. This is what gets you noticed. Even if it's for like a tiny moment in time, this is what's done it.
What I want to know is why can Robert Earl get Christy Brinkley in a kit?
Yeah. In a red Ferrari, driving past Chevy Chase.
Exactly.
It's the dream. That's the dream. I can't believe that one of our directors knew.
Set it up.
Bieber was turning up and didn't get a professional photographer to get photos of him wearing an Everton kit and splash.
It should be like a Panini sticker. It should be like a Panini sticker of Bieber. That would be amazing.
He's got one job. His one job was supposed to be to spread the word of the club. We know he's not like some kind of big Evertonian. We know he's a friend of someone and he's got involved.
A friend and
big deal. But he knew that Justin Bieber was coming to his island, was going to play in an Everton kit, and he didn't get a professional photographer to take pictures of. We've had to go through people's Instagram pictures to find these pictures. It's ridiculous. It's like some girl's picture. Thank God she didn't copyright it and watermark it and all the rest of it. Oh my god.
Right, and then and then the halftime photo of Chrissy Brinkley, and because she was there too, and her kids, And I guess some of the kids of the various Baldwin brothers were there, just hanging out, wearing Everton kits,
Just hanging out
scoring
with Everton
scoring
kids.
goals, scoring
Just hanging out with,
goals.
yeah. Just running around in full Everton kits. Just one of the biggest stars in the world running around in an Everton kit, and there wasn't a professional photographer there to take pictures of him wearing a full Everton kit and getting 45,000 retweets to his 58
Who
million followers.
I
Oh
haven't
my
yeah I haven't
god!
checked I haven't checked who has more followers on Twitter, Ronaldo or Bieber.
I don't think I don't think anyone's got more. I don't think God has got more followers generally in the world, not just on Twitter, than Justin Bieber. He might be a little brat. He's got 58 million. Oh my god! All you have to do is get a professional photographer to take pictures of him, not some girl's pictures off Instagram or Twitter. What is wrong with you people?
I
What
wonder if
is wrong with
I
you
wonder if we
people?
could get him to be a corporate sponsor of like Tony Hibbert for a year for like 1,500 quid. Tony Hibbert sponsored by Justin Bieber.
I'd give him a contract. I'd go that far.
I mean, yeah, if my local club was about to sign Ocho Cinco to a soccer contract, why not sign Bieber to a soccer contract if you're Everton? Get him a 1-day deal, and then he can retire. And he retired as an Evertonian.
I can't believe the stupidity.
I can't believe we've
I don't
talked about
believe it.
this for
I'm
this long.
sitting here. I am sitting here, and literally someone called Team Bieber has just retweeted this. Honest to God, I've had this. We've had this for 2 days. Phone going off the hook with like person called Team Bieber or Bieber lover or Bieber whatever.
Bieber Nation,
Yeah, Bieber Nation or whatever. Or it might be Bieber Nation. I prefer
leave
Bieber
it to the
Nation.
Bieber.
Whatever. Yeah. Leave it to the Bieber. Bieber loves the blue. Whatever. Oh my god, this is basic PR stuff. When someone wears your shirt, you
Yeah,
make
someone just dollar sign retweeted us. Whatever that is, just dollar sign.
I'm not being funny. Matt Damon was in an Everton shirt and he made more use of it. And Matt Damon, although I love him because he is Jason Bourne,
And he's going to be Jason Bourne again.
and I do love him. People,
We
please not.
both do. I think I don't know who loves him more.
We just have a Bourne conversation. It's Justin Bieber. They should be tweeting it on the hour. Come and buy Justin Bieber's shirt. I'm just gonna get a pair of purple Everton shorts and stick them on eBay and put a fake signature on them, a bit of sweat around the crotch area, and I think I'll get a couple of grand for them. I think it's gonna happen. Oh my god.
Put them on eBay, not authentic Justin Bieber worn
Yeah.
shorts.
There's probably a site called eBieber or something where you just put like Bieber stuff.
Probably. If not, there should be, and you should start it.
Yeah. Genius.
Do it.
Oh my god. What honestly god. Do it, please.
As good as all that was yesterday, Everton has been absolutely horrible.
Yeah, crap.
There's really no way to explain it other than we look lost.
Like children.
Yeah.
Lost like little children.
The lineups over these past 3 matches, and we're talking about the Stoke, Newcastle, and Hull matches, all 3 losses.
Yeah.
Only one we scored in was the Newcastle match. We did score twice, but that was after it was pretty much over and done with. Looked pretty much just a walk in the park for Newcastle at the point. And yeah.
What do we say? What do we say, Rick? I don't know. Where do we go? What do we do? I'm not sure.
I don't know what to do. Hopefully the manager does.
I'm not going to talk about the games because let's not depress ourselves.
One thing that we haven't talked about much this year is the refereeing and how horrible it is. So we'll
talk about that.
We'll talk about that
in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute, Eric. Let's just
right.
We'll get into that in a minute. But it's
player selection lineups.
Well, this 3 different games.
Start?
3 different games, 3 different
formations,
teams,
3 different teams.
we
Well,
started
one team is all Everton for some reason.
against Stoke with Howard, Stones, Jags, Baines, Coleman, Naismith, Morales, McCarthy, Barry, Lukaku, and Barkley, which
Yeah, on paper,
on paper
that
is
is your top 11. On paper, that is your best 11 out there. You want a lineup that speaks to Everton fans around the world. Those are the 11 that are on our roster that you're saying, yes, that's the 11 that I want out there starting every match. Am I wrong?
pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, apart from maybe a few balance issues of where people play, then that is pretty much what you want. But then, you go into the Newcastle game and there's 7 changes. I mean, let's not forget Howard, Stones, Jags, Morales, McCarthy all picked up injuries that game, and
Right.
also Naismith got a yellow card. I mean,
Yeah, Howard and Jags so bad they come out at halftime, both of them.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and then you move on to the Newcastle game. You've got Joel, Distan, Alcaraz, Garbett, Coleman, Baines, Barry, Etu, McGeady, McCarthy. Again, not 100% fit, goes off injured, and Kone. And then you look at the whole game. Joel, Coleman, Jags, Barry, Alcaraz, Baines, Message, Barkley, Kone, Naismith, Morales, which is another 4 changes.
yeah, this
A
then dropped.
different formations. It's just all over the place at the moment. And as you mentioned,
There's one thing that stands out to me in those three is Barry playing 90 minutes in all of them.
well, how many times have we mentioned that this season that you've got a player there who looks unbelievably off the pace, never quite looks fit, never really has got going this season. It's just been so off it. Other players have been rotated, other players been changed, and now we've got a guy who just plays every single week, playing centre back as well. He looks so off the pace. He's one of the problems we're getting caught in possession in our own half, and yet he seems to play every week, and the fans seem to have identified this, and yet the manager hasn't, and it's strange, and he looks lost because he looks lost without McCarthy, who's clearly got some kind of problem that.
Is it physical or mental?
No, it's not mental. It's clearly a physical problem that needs to be sorted out. Yet no one seems to be able to put the finger on what it is, and
Well, it's a good thing Everton just got rid of their physio, so he's
yeah,
not going to either.
sadly we lost our head of medicine this week. Plenty of rumours out there. We're not going to go into them on this show, but there's plenty of rumours out there for why he left. Let's just say, players are playing that seem to have injuries and then come off with the same injuries. I think that says it all. So it's just a mess. It's a mess. You go from the Stoke game into the Newcastle game. It's a different formation. And listen, the first 25 minutes, I thought we were great against Newcastle. We started really well. We scored a really good goal, but then we sort of reverted into type. We sort of went into our shell and let Newcastle go all over us. And it's so strange. And then you go into the whole game and you look at some of the players who stood out from the Newcastle game. Garbutt, I thought he was great against Newcastle. I thought Baines played really well in midfield and obviously set the second goal up. I thought he did really well and was something a little bit different. Garbutt was a bit of a change at left wing back. His set balls are a lot better as well. His delivery is a lot better, and it seems to work a little bit better. And then we go into the whole game.
Baines and Garbutt seem to play together pretty well at times.
And then we go into the whole game, and Garbutt's not even in the squad, and people put 2 and 2 together. Garbutt puts a tweet out basically saying, we played well, the formation had much time to be worked on, and we're going from game to game, and people are thinking, well, has he been disciplined for basically letting out a few inside sort of secrets? Not maliciously, just trying to get across to people the way it is at the moment.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot of rumours around the fact that Liverpool are after him. He hasn't got a contract signed yet, so that's it's not helping. Let's be honest, it's not helping.
It's not ideal in
There's
addition
a
to everything else that's going on. That's for sure.
no, it's just a big mess at the moment. And as I mentioned, we're changing the side every single week. We're getting 4 changes, we're getting 7 changes. It's just too many, and people like Morelos and Lukaku are not haven't been playing, and Morelos is his injury doesn't seem to have settled down, and obviously Jags doesn't look 100%, and Stones came back looks like he came back too early.
Right.
It's just a big mess at the moment, and until we get a settled team or a settled spine playing week in and week out, I don't really see much changing, because players are just doing the same old thing, and there doesn't seem to be much guidance. And I see players unhappy on the pitch. I see players that, some of them for me, would like to go back to basics, and they're clearly not being allowed to. And when you see players getting caught in possession in their own half, you only have to take the Newcastle second goal, McGee getting caught in possession. That typifies where Everton are at the moment. Players getting caught, players doing what they're told to do, which is to get the ball, look up, and pass it. Whereas in reality, if you've got a couple of minutes to half time and you're under pressure, you should just be hitting a corner and saying to your centre forward, "Go chase it," and either winners a throw in, or force the opposition to have a throw for themselves. But as long as it's in the other half, right up the other end, then we're not bothered. That's what you do. That's how you defend when you're under pressure. You do not come out of your box with the ball. And I'm all for Roberto Martin's style of play. I really am. But sometimes you've got to say, let's get this defended sorted. And the best way to defend is the ball being right at the other end of the pitch. It might be pretty, it might be fancy, but it must.
Yeah, it's almost as if over the past year and a half, it's been beaten into the players' heads that it's better to lose possession than to clear your lines.
No, it is. That's completely what it is. It's completely this philosophy of total football, and that's all well and good. But I'm sorry, that's not how football works. Yes, at the very, very top it does. Your Barcelona, your Bayern Munich, who've got 11 players who are all fantastic week in and week out. We don't have 11 players who are all fantastic in our best side, never mind in our second best side or even on our third best side. And that's what we've had to deal with all season, is not having our best side out due to injuries or rotation. And what you've got to do in them circumstances is allow players to go back to the basics of how to play. And I'm sorry, but at any level, the easiest thing to do when you're under pressure is just to launch the ball. That's the basics, and I'm sorry if that doesn't fit in with everyone's principles, but you know what? I've heard a lot of people talking about the school of science and this is how we play now and how he's played. Well, I'm sorry, right, but there's a balance. People who think Moyes' teams were just long ball are mental. They're mental. Because I'm not being funny, certainly in that last season under Moyes, I've seen some absolutely great football, dynamic football. Sometimes it went long, sometimes it played short, sometimes it was ball over the top for the like Morales to get onto. It was different kinds of football, and that for me is actually more in tune to what the school of science, whatever that means, is. Go back and watch videos on YouTube of the 84-85 team, and what you'll see there is a team that can play any style it wants to, is good enough to play. When it knows to go long, it goes long. When it needs to play short, it plays short. Crosses, headers, volleys, great goals, scrappy goals, any kind of goals, getting players into the box. That's the proper school of science. Being able to play whatever is needed. That is how all the best teams win. Because what happens is, Eric, is teams who play one way will be found out. Now,
Sure.
the very, 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 very best, like Barcelona, it takes teams 4 to 5 years to be able to learn how to stop teams like that. But we're not anywhere near
By
that.
that time, Barcelona's bought half of their squad anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um, but and then Real Madrid's bought the other half.
Mm.
Uh, but the biggest problem for me in the whole match, as far as formation goes, is whenever it came to trying to work the ball through the midfield, there was 40 yards between our defense and our midfield. It
Yeah,
was the gap was so huge, and
because they're having to defend deep.
absolutely they're under pressure, so much pressure that there's no way to keep that link between the defense and the midfield. But yet, passing the ball is still the only. It's not even the first option. It's pretty much become the only option. And whenever there's
Problem is
nobody to
that
pass to, then you're going to give up possession. You're going to get turned over, and the other team is going to have the ball in a very great position with an almost easy chance to score. Things like the Yelovich goal, where we lose the ball, a ball over the top comes in, and, well, we might as well not have a keeper, but
there's no.
um,
But there's no pace, Eric, at the back at the moment. There's no pace. You've got players like Barry and Alcaraz playing centre back, and that's a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. Martinez is just a disgrace to try and play that, because you've got no pace
right.
in that defence. So what happened is
What happened to Browning? He played. He played one match and he played a couple of matches, looked amazing on the ball. Looked like he had some really decent skill in possession. He's fast. He's quick. He's big. He's not going to get knocked off the ball, and we haven't seen him since when? I would rather him in there than Alcaraz. I'd rather him in there than Barry if we're going to play three at the back.
We're relying on players who are too slow to keep a high line.
But they're better, Ped.
No, but what I'm saying is they can't keep a high line because they're too slow.
Right.
They're giving the ball away all the time, so they're getting caught in possession.
And they have no recourse whenever they do.
And then they're too deep. They're too deep because they've got no pace at times, so that teams can just push on and push on and push on us, and there's no in between ground. And sadly, it all goes back to the way we play, because if the players weren't under so much pressure to keep passing the ball like they have to, we wouldn't be in these problems, because other teams who are worse, who are in worse positions, they will grind themselves out of these positions. And that is my big worry about this Everton team, is that I think there's enough players in there that could roll the sleeves up and say, right, lads, we're going to get out of this. But you have to be allowed to do that. And if the manager insists on playing a certain way, then that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. We're just not going to find that intensity. We're not going to find.
There's no bottle. There's no
we
bottle.
Are
There's
this
no.
Season, Eric, this season, I think we are somewhere like we are either the worst or one of the worst in the league for tackling. We are one of the worst for individual mistakes. We are one of the worst teams for pressing. Eric, we're not even winning the possession anymore. Teams have figured us out, and yet we keep doing it because Roberto Martinez keeps saying it'll be all right on the night. There's getting less of them nights now. I'm afraid something's going to have to give. The style is going to have to change. I see players who are not comfortable at the moment playing this style because they know where it's leading to. And I'm sorry if that's grim for some people, but this is football. This is... You can't get to the end of the season and just go, see, I told you it was going to be all right. Because for me, it's not going to be all right, because we're not now going to finish in a European place.
No way.
And
we're like 20 points off the pace of Europe.
People are going, oh, it's all right. No way we're going to get relegated. Good, but that shouldn't even enter the psyche. You're going into weekends now, and you're looking at the Premier League, and you're going, oh, God, I hope they get beat. And you're looking at the bottom teams, and it's like,
No,
no,
what's
we should,
bad
we
is
should be looking
whenever
at the top teams,
right
going,
whenever Liverpool and Leicester are playing, and you're thinking, oh crap, Leicester equalized. That means they get a point. What? I saw tweets like that. They're like, oh, everybody was cheering Liverpool on so that Leicester City doesn't pick up points because they're closer to us in a bad way.
it's nuts. It's nuts. It
What
is,
what
honestly, it's
what
nuts.
is what is really telling to me, Ped, is the amount of points dropped from a winning position. We've scored first in quite a few of our matches this year, and we've come out and we've looked good in some of these games. We've looked like we have what it takes to be a top side, and then we get turned over, and then we get turned over again, and all of a sudden we find ourselves down, or we come out and uh, don't convert a couple of chances, and then we get scored on cheaply, or in just the way that it's happened, we give up possession and one player's in and they finish and we're down,
For
and
me, Eric,
there doesn't seem to be any sort of instant change either in the side, the squad, the formation, or the players' mindsets to go, all right, let's get that back, and then let's go get another one.
Eric, we are now one of the most unfittest teams in the Premier League. I think we look so far behind other teams fitness-wise. It's incredible. And this league, teams will beat you on fitness alone. We've seen the likes of Crystal Palace, who are just very, very average sides, come and beat us because of their fitness. And, it goes back to the pre-season. You look at the first two games of the season and you think we were 10 minutes away from beating Leicester. We were
a couple minutes away from beating Arsenal.
We were comfortably beating Arsenal till the 81st minute. We were two goals clear of them, and at the end we were actually hanging on. And that is basically being the tale of the season. We don't score late goals. We don't really seem to even put a charge in towards the end of games. We are a very,
last
very
2 minutes. We try.
Apart from maybe the derby, I can't really remember many games where we've scored late goals. There seems to be so many problems. And I just don't think pass, give the ball away is going to rectify the problems in the short term. And that's all we're really talking about is the short term, because football is like that. If you can turn things around quickly, they tend to stay turned around. What we're saying is if Everton Christmas would have been the perfect time. If Everton could have got 2 wins and a draw over Christmas, things would look a hell of a lot different. You'd be going into the new year and you would be, looking at things much differently. But now you think, oh, West Ham coming, they'll beat us. Man City, they'll beat us. And then you start looking at teams like West Brom and thinking, well, they've got a new manager. It's a 6-pointer. That's it.
Palace, who is got Pardew.
Got a new manager. Yeah, he's got a new manager. And the problem is, Eric,
and knows how to be Martinez.
The problem is, Eric, is you go into games under pressure. The crowd feel under pressure. There's a toxicity in the stadium. There's a toxicity amongst the fans. No one wants to sing. No one wants to get behind the fans. Players are waiting for that first mistake to happen, and it just feels awful at the moment. And but
panic button pressed.
No, I just think that the manager's got to start living in the real world, because at the moment he's not living in the real world. He's living in Cloud Cuckoo Land from the Lego film. Honestly, he's not where we are. And it's all right for him to go, well, yeah, and it's all right for Jags to come out and go, there's a togetherness.
It's on us to turn this around.
We are saying, well, do it then. Don't stop talking about it. Do it, and do it the way you know how to do it, by getting stuck into games and grinding out results. Because we're not seeing that at the moment. What we're seeing is Everton turning up, home and away, going on the backs and letting other teams tickle their bellies. There's no fight. There's absolutely no fight. And I'm sick of it, and I hate it. I hate to see Everton out fought by any team, because do you know what? I have seen some crap Everton teams, but most of them had a lot more fight than this team at the moment. They had a lot more aggression. They had players who would run through brick walls for the team. Now, I'm not saying these players wouldn't run through brick walls, uh, but but if they did, they'd get some kind of injury that would keep them out for 3 months for a start.
Right.
We, I'm used to. Well, even when we've had poor sides where I've seen the players roll up the sleeves and say, right, we're going to have to do something about this now. The manager come up with a plan of how he was going to get out of it. Even if it's just one player, you know, 94 when we were under threat from being relegated, you had a couple of players in the team who sort of stood up and said, right, we're not going to let this happen. When we were under pressure, when Joe Royle took over, he implanted a way that teams were not going to roll us over. He used the players that we had to go out there. Even Kendall's teams, when we nearly got relegated, Duncan Ferguson took the captain's armband and
Can he take it again?
scored a hell of a lot of goals that saved us that season. That's what it takes. It takes a player to say, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to grab every game by the scruff of the neck, and I'm going to drag us through this. And we're not seeing that. And that comes from the senior players. And at the moment, what we're seeing is the senior players are the worst players. So that's what makes it worse, because then you see criticism of people like Ross Barkley, and you think this is a 21-year-old, and Lukaku. These are 21-year-old players who are playing in a team with no confidence, and yet they seem to be the brunt of all the abuse when they are just kids learning the game. And it really annoys me that, because who are they? They're not going to stand up in the dressing room and start telling senior pros or tell the manager how to do things, are they? That's where you need real leaders in the dressing room, and that's another thing we just don't see at the moment. Real leaders. Oh, you know what? I couldn't understand it. The game the other day when Jags wasn't playing, and for me, Leighton Baines should have been the captain.
Right.
And Barry was the captain, and some people said, well, Baines didn't want the captaincy. Well, I think Baines should just be taking the captaincy and said, I'm an Evertonian. I've been here longer than all of yous. I am going to take this armband and I'm going to lead. He does lead. Don't get me wrong, he does lead. But I want to see by saying I want to be the captain and I want to lead. That's what I want to see. I want to see that kind of desire on the pitch, and I'm not seeing it at the moment, and it really disappoints me.
Yeah, I agree with you. The refereeing all season has been pretty atrocious. The speed of the game just is getting to the point where I don't know if it's just one man in the center can't handle it, or if he just needs video help or what. But I hate to make excuses, and Everton have been so poor this year that it probably doesn't even really matter. But for some of the calls to go the way they are, either for and against. I mean, even in the whole match, Naismith clear penalty in like the third or fourth minute should have been a penalty. Very lucky that wasn't called. But for some of the other things to have happened over these 3 games is just ridiculous. Never penalty for me for Stoke. Should have been sent off. Walter should have been sent off. For bringing down Baines. Horrible tackles on Morales. The second yellow card on Alcaraz against Hull was just laughable. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's making it really hard to. If I was a neutral, if I was an American, without a team, without a dog in the fight, if I was just tuning in to watch, I would be like, this is the refereeing isn't any better than MLS refs. It's gotten to that level to where the refereeing in the Premier League, and I don't know if it's just because of the proportion of skilled players to the refereeing, and the skill level of the referee is just not keeping up with the skills of the players or what, but something has to change because they are looking the fool in replays every single match.
Well, as you mentioned, you opened up by saying it shouldn't be an excuse, but at the end of the day, sometimes you do need luck to win football
Right.
games, and we've seen that against QPR. You know, the deflection for the
The three
second goal, and
deflections, yeah. Well, I
well, I
guess
don't
three
count
of
the
them.
first one. I don't count the first one as a deflection. Um,
Well, I
but
don't think it was an own goal, but it definitely was a deflection. It would
it
have
was
gone.
going in. It was going in anyway.
Right.
But you need luck. You
But
need
we
luck
could have gotten
sometimes
a
to change.
deflection the other way and it gone out.
Eric,
All right, that's what I'm
shut
just
up.
saying.
Sometimes you need a little bit of luck in football matches for it to go your way.
Right.
And you know, against Stoke, Leighton Baines is one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and it's a sending off. I don't even think it's a hard decision. It's a sending off, and then he goes down
Yeah,
the other
straight
end.
back pocket.
Goes down the other end. It was a very, very soft penalty, has to be said. So whether you think that was a penalty or not, it doesn't matter. That wouldn't have happened if I just don't think that would have happened if Walters had been sent off for a start anyway.
Any of the three elbows by Cisse into Coleman's face worth sending off?
Well, I think there might be, you know, room in there for one of those elbows to be classed as a sending off. And again, there you go. I think I tweeted it 10 seconds before he scored. Put your money on Cisse to score. He
Oh,
did
so did
score.
I, yeah.
It changed the game. There you go. It doesn't matter whether he's been
Oh, but
banned
he's
now.
going to be banned for next game, so that's
Great.
good punishment.
That's good against teams that are now our rivals.
And getting an advantage from our misfortune.
Yeah, thanks.
Great, fantastic.
Again,
Super
as I say,
Cafe. Way to
we're
go.
1-0 up. He gets sent off. They're down to 10 men. The crowd turn on them. We start keeping the ball, and hopefully you go on and score more and win the game comfortably.
Yeah.
That's what's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. We've seen it against Manchester City. We've seen it against Swansea, where Boney should have been sent off. We've seen it in a lot of games this season, 6, 7, or 8, where the opposition should have gone down to 10 men at critical points in the game, where we were either winning 1-0 or it was still 0-0.
Early on, even. Yeah.
Those things haven't happened, and it's come back to haunt us. And so you can say, well, we were terrible in this game, or we were terrible in that game, or it doesn't matter. It does matter. Of course it matters. It all matters. It all filters in to the same thing. So the referees have been a big part of us not picking up wins as well this season, and they have to be mentioned. And it's a disgrace. And you know what? Jose Mourinho comes out and he has a go at the referee in the Southampton game, which he had every right to. No problem with that. No problem with that at all, right? And what happens is he's supposed to get fined, and he didn't get fined. He got an apology, and that's fair enough. I've got no problem with that. But why are we like the nicest people in football? Why did Samuel Eto'o, when he was in the Newcastle box, kick it out? Because one of their players, it might have even been Cisse, I can't even remember, it might have been. Why do we continue to do this? Why are we so nice? Why, when Seamus Coleman got attacked, did nobody go over to the referee and get in his face? When Walters pulled Baines down, they had Walters, Shawcross, some other their pack animals in that referee's face, intimidating him, changing his mind for him. It happens everywhere else. Why don't we do it? Why doesn't our captain get in the face of the referee and say, what the hell was that? What are you doing? That's a disgrace. No, we let it go. Why isn't Roberto Martinez after the game saying this is a disgrace? Why are we getting treated like this? We're the ones who should be getting apologies from referees, not Jose Mourinho. We should be. And I'm sick to death of being the nicest team in the league. It gets you absolutely nowhere. I'm not saying players should dive. I'm not saying players should cheat. But players should be going to the referee and saying, why the hell aren't we getting these decisions? It's completely wrong. And stop kicking the ball out for other players. They're diving, they're cheating, and we're kicking out. That one against Newcastle, Samuel Eto'o kicked it out while we had possession in their box. And what happened? They kicked it back to our goalkeeper.
Right.
What the hell is that about? Sorry, it's got to change.
Yep. I just kind of had an epiphany while during that little mini rant, if you will. Our captain isn't going up to him, but you know who is on our team that is getting into the face of the referee more than anybody else that I've noticed? Stephen Naismith. So why not put the armband on that guy? Because he seems to be one of the few that is willing to stand up and say something. I see him in the face of the referee more than any other player in a blue shirt for us. So
Well,
give him some responsibility.
Being a captain appears to just be a PR exercise these days. To be honest, Eric.
I understand that, but of what I've seen, of the hustle, of the running, of the being everywhere and trying harder than his teammates, Stephen Naismith, when he's fit, is doing the job.
No, he is, and that's why people love him, and that's why you're hearing so many. That's why you're hearing a lot of shouts for people saying, "Go and get Tim Cahill, bring Tim Cahill back," because you want leaders around who are horrible, who are niggly, who are going to get in the faces of the other team, and that's what Stephen Naismith does.
Right.
Actually, we've had a question just come through on YouTube, and it says it's from Ped Rocks Johnson, not DME. It says, I know Ped has mentioned that there needs to be a senior leader to step up and take charge, as much as it pains me to say. I think Osman is the man for that. Thoughts? That's a good shout, and that's why the likes of him and Hibbert. That's why the likes of him and Hibbert have been around the squad for so long, because they do inject that kind of thing. But that should come from other areas as well. Other players should be standing up. And do you know what, right? Listen, I've been a big critic of Tim Howard. Everyone knows I've been a big critic. But I think I said it at the occasion, and I'll say it now. Against Chelsea, when Costa got in Coleman's face, the only person who stood up for Coleman was Tim Howard. He went roaring over to Costa. He got in his face, and Costa bottled it. Tim Howard got in his face and said, "Who do you think you are? Right? You do not do that." And Tim Howard is a leader, and you missed out. Unfortunately, he's not someone who's going to run out 80 yards and get in the referee's face. But there needs to be more of that. There needs to be players standing up for our other players. If someone gets kicked, I want to see them go over to the player and get in the player's face. Get in the ref's face. That's what needs to
stand over him.
We're too nice. We're just too nice. Simple as that.
Yep. All right. I think that should be good for now. We'll take a break.
Let me just mention this other question. A question from King Satia has said, "Would you guys sell Ross for a room with 45 million? To me, he looks like a player that doesn't really score goals or create chances." No, absolutely not.
He's not for sale. No.
I wouldn't sell. Why would you sell him?
I wouldn't sell him for Gareth Bale money.
Why would you sell anybody at the moment who is part of our fixed 11? They need to. They're the ones who need. You can't just say, "Oh, we're playing crap. Sell some players." No, what you do is you keep the players and you have to elevate them. You have to. For me, someone like Ross Barkley, he could be someone that you put a captain's armband on and say, "Go out there and show yourself what you're all about." You're an Evertonian. Let's see you leading. Let's see you fighting for this team that you love, right? Get rid of all the stupid rumours out there about selling. When people go, "Oh, Ross has had a terrible game, sell him, take an offer for him." Nonsense. Players like Ross Barkley, Everton should be building the club round.
Yep. All right.
For 45 million and go and buy 5 players. No, nonsense. He's an absolute phenomenal player on his day. Maybe if the manager played him in his proper position, then maybe we'd see the best out of Ross.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Talk, because I think you just went Robotnik. Yeah, you're Robotnik a little bit. I was going to talk FA Cup and then a little bit about transfer window.
Okay. Guys, keep the questions coming, please. Keep the questions coming.
Definitely.
Please, interaction.
If you don't give us more questions, then Ped's gonna sing more Bieber songs, and nobody wants that.
We love the Q&A function. That's what we use. We keep getting the questions and keep doing talk to each other. We'll throw it in. Mention your book if you've got something we have about.
Nobody can hear you, Ped. Nobody can understand you.
You say what I'm saying then.
I don't know what you're saying.
You should do.
You're Robotnik and Scouse. I can't understand. Oh, hey, we do have some questions on Q&A here, so that's good.
Sure.
So we'll get to these. I'm about to get rid of Jimmy EFC because nobody should ever mention Drenthe or Strack ever again. Not even going to address that one.
I completely disagree with. Hang on, my back Robotnik here. My Robotnik there.
Still a little
Can
bit.
you figure me out?
It's Clement. It's coming through a little bit. You're
Right.
on.
Who was it? King Seishay. I'm sure every fan base in the Premier League thinks the refs have. No, no, no. There's a difference between. There's a difference between.
You're misreading that. That says Kink says hi. By the way.
I don't care. I'm messing about.
There you go.
There's a difference between every team thinking that a referee's cost them and a referee actually costing them every single game. For like the last 5 games, we've had. It's okay. Listen, if the referee give a free kick or a throw in and it wasn't a free kick and a throw in, fine, I understand that. But I can name 7 occasions this season where a player should have been sent off and it affected the game. Simple as that. It affected the game. And you can be playing as crap as you want. Decisions change games.
Torre should have been off for City. Should have been a couple of bookable offenses, and he was not. I mean, yeah, it's every match we can go and look at and feel aggrieved in very key important moments of the match. All right, let's get back into it.
Go ahead.
All right, we're back on Follow Tonians. Yeah, we're done talking about Justin Bieber, maybe. But we do have a match coming up, FA Cup 3rd round at home against West Ham, and there's some mixed emotions and mixed sentiment about what we want to happen in this match. A lot of people are starting to push that panic button, Ped, and saying we don't want to have to worry about the FA Cup. We don't want to have to worry about any extra matches. Just put out a youth team and stick with the league and get points because we don't want to be relegated. So
not going to be relegated because you played an extra couple of games in the cup, are we?
Probably not. No. I want to win every game that we play.
To my Everton Football Club here, this is the problem that I hate. It's the fact that we are a massive club. We've got massive fan base. Okay, we're not one of the sort of upper echelon teams. We
have no marketing department.
We are a massive football club, and the idea of we've already threw away 1 cup competition this year. Let's not throw another one away. Thank you very much. For me, the strongest team that he can put out, and when I say strongest, I mean healthy as well. I don't want to see players playing that are not fit, especially if it means James McCarthy. If James McCarthy's not fit, then leave him till he heals because he's no good coming into the side, not fit. Play Besic and just leave him in there. Just leave Besic in there. Leave Besic in there.
But if he picks up a card in the first half, then you have to sub him out at halftime, right?
Yeah. And also, if you lose your holding centre midfielder in a game away, you bring an attacking midfielder on for him apparently as well.
Right.
Just play
because
best
that
team.
helps
Just play.
link up between the defense and your midfield.
It does. Play the strongest team possible, the fittest team possible, and let's go and win the game. Win the game, gain confidence from it, and then keep. This will be a mad one for Roberto. Keep the same team for, wait for this. 2 games in a row. 2 games. We have not kept the same 11 for 2 games in a row this season. Now, I know a lot of that comes down to injuries, but we've got to start doing that. We had 4 new players, in the back 5 against Newcastle. The goalkeeper, 2 centre-halves, and the left-back were all new players. That can't happen. That cannot happen. We've got to start picking the same team, the same spine, week in and week out. It's the only way we're going to go forward. It's what we did last season, and I don't care about rotation being ideal for motivation. There doesn't need to be motivation. There needs to be 3 points or winning cup games. That's what there needs to be.
Right. It's really hard to pick the same team with the injuries that we have. So
no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. No problem with that. I completely
don't
understand that. I completely understand that. But what doesn't help that is playing players who are not fit. He played Stones against Stoke. He wasn't fit. He's played McCarthy about 4 times.
Especially in horrible weather, horrible conditions. That it's cold. It's wet. It's snowy. It's icy. Any sort of knock on a tender area is going to just be magnified. And
that's what it was. That's what it was.
Absolutely.
It was a 50-50. It was a 50-50 tackle, I think, on the whole game in the Stoke game that led to his ankle getting jarred. Because he wasn't fit. Players, I know. We need our strongest team, but playing players who are not fit is not going to help the situation. And McCarthy is the player that we've missed most this season.
Yes.
And he's coming on and he's playing for 45 minutes, and it's not helping. Just leave Besic in the team. He was fantastic against QPR. Okay, they're not the best team in the league, but just leave him in the side. Just leave him in the side. Get a midfield. For me, I would just leave now Barkley, Naismith, and Besic in that midfield.
Yep.
Leave them in there for a few games and let
them play through at the back.
No, not those three.
Okay. If Stones is healthy,
and Jags,
and if you are playing through at the back, who's your third?
I
think three at the back could work for us. I really do. I think it could if you've got enough in the middle in front of them.
I think Distan could play in a 3. I think Distan could play in a 3 because of his pace, but he needs leadership alongside him. He's been awful the last few games. We've seen every goal nail. He's been his fault.
Stones right.
Stones right, Jags Stones or Jags right, Stones left, centre, and maybe Distan left, or maybe Alcaraz. I think Alcaraz you can get away with him when he's in a 3, but we need Stones back in there because he dictates how Everton play as well. But
I'd mentioned Browning. Do we even know if he's played for the U21s at all?
Well, I don't think there's been any 21 games because of been getting called off and stuff.
Right.
So.
So we don't know. He could be.
I don't know.
He could have a broken leg, and we wouldn't know.
I would not. I wouldn't have a clue, honestly. I wouldn't have a clue. Right. Listen, I don't know. We, as I said, we just got to.
He does.
We've just got to get back to some kind of basics, and whether that be 4-4-2. And as I said earlier, Garbett, left wing back, left back, no problem. Baines playing centre midfield, that could work as well, no problem. Barry's not working. It's not working. No. It's not working.
But he does seem to be this manager's Phil Neville.
Yeah, he does, and he's going the Phil Neville route as well at the moment. He's going down that route.
An NBC and USA here soon.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't think Barry's completely gone. I think some time out the side would really, really help. Because he's just getting called out all the time, and it's no good. It's just no good for us. And we're going into an FA Cup game, which is a really big game. Let's be honest, FA Cup. We need to sort of turn this form round.
Yep.
Well, there's no ifs and buts maybe about it. We need to turn this form round. A win in the FA Cup would put us in great stead for the next league game, which is obviously against Manchester City. So. We've got to go in there. One of the reasons I'd love to see Besic go into midfield because he's all passion, he's all fight, he's all mad eyes and lunacy. There's something about him. He's got that little bit of
very Eastern Europe.
Yeah, he's got that little bit of madness about him that everyone needs. Now, we're playing West Ham, who've just come over. Their Christmas hasn't been brilliant. They got beat by Chelsea, they got beat by Arsenal, and they drew with West Brom. But it's not been a brilliant Christmas for them either. So,
right.
This is the time now to it mightn't be the worst time to play them. They've been good this season. They're seventh in the league. They're 11 points ahead of us in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That is just that's ridiculous.
Everybody's 11 points ahead of us, Ped.
Anyone that sort of matters are at least 11 points ahead of us.
Yeah.
So, listen, we've got to get something out of this game. And as I say, back to basics. Get Besic in the midfield. Get Barkley playing when he's supposed to play. Get Naismith playing when he's supposed to play. Do something mad. Play two strikers. Play Lukaku and Kone. Do something a little bit crazy. But do it like you mean it. Don't be half-hearted about it. Don't set a team up that hasn't trained on that formation. But play players where they're supposed to play. Play players in the right positions. Play players where they're comfortable. Play players who are fit as well. And if the players are not fit, bring other players into the side and give them a go, because it's just not working and things have to change. So don't rely on the same old things that are not working.
I like your thinking there. Your reasoning and thinking. Your thinking. It's right on track. Don't rely on things that aren't working.
Yeah.
That's very profound, Ped.
It is,
and I like it. I like the way you're thinking.
No.
That's fantastic. Somebody should really
quote me if you want. Put my name and the date underneath it and stick it on there.
Don't rely on things that aren't working. Ped McPartlin, fantastic.
2015.
There you go. Boom.
Kaboom.
Nice. Yeah. Result need to win. Probably not all that upset if we don't.
Will I be I will be, yes, very unhappy if we don't get a. Very, very upset. I don't care what tournament it is. I don't care if it's the Inter-Toto Welly.
Can we get into the Johnstone Paint Trophy Cup thing?
If only. That's what it should be like. It's like the Champions League falling into the Europa. It's like if you fall out the FA Cup in the third round, you should be able to go into the Johnstone Paint Trophy. So, yeah, that'd do me. Yes, I will be very upset if we don't win, because it's a tournament. It's a trophy. 20 years, people. 20 years since Everton won a trophy.
This spring is 20 years since Paul Rideout scored a goal.
That is scary.
That mattered.
Not only is it scary, it's unacceptable. As far as I'm concerned, it's unacceptable for that to happen.
Yeah, there's Americans that were born after that are almost legally able to drink now.
It shouldn't be allowed to happen. It's unacceptable. I don't think it's not many times in Everton's history of Everton on 20 years without winning a trophy. It's
no, because I think before that it was 13. I think was the longest.
Shouldn't be allowed to happen. It's just not. It's just Everton just are too big a club, and it's sad that it's too many people think it's okay that this goes on, and it shouldn't be allowed to go on.
Should not.
Justin Bieber's fault.
If you say so, Ped. Last topic, and I mean it's a big topic, and transfer window is now open.
Goalie, a goalie. Go sign a goalie. Go and sign a goalie now.
Do we need a new keeper, Ped? Are you sure? Are you sure if we need a new keeper, Ped?
I'd go buy a new goalie.
But if we follow the playing of a backup keeper in cup ties, does that mean we see Griffiths and not Joel?
I'd go buy a new goalie. I'd bought a new goalie yesterday, basically.
Yeah. Before anybody else bought a goalie?
We need a goalie. His name's David Marshall, plays for Cardiff. Go and buy him.
Okay.
Honestly, go and buy him, because you know what? They'd sell. They'd sell for about £4 million. Go and buy him now, because do you know what? You'd get your $4 million.
We only knew an international pop star that had a spare £4 million laying around.
If only we knew a fella who owned his own island in the Bahamas, who owned 10% of Everton Football Club. David Kurtz, give him a ring. Um, Listen, we could go and buy David Marshall for about £4 million, and I guarantee, Ped guarantee this.
Hmm.
I should have a thing behind me with those wavy hands, like you see at the used car places. I guarantee, if we bought him, we would get the £4 million back in the summer. We'd get the £4 million back next summer. We'd get the £4 million back the summer after.
Are you saying we'd be able to sell Tim Howard onto like NYCFC?
No, what I'm saying is that we could sell David Marshall if he was crap and still make the money back. But yes, I would be actively going around every single team in America with a picture of Tim Howard and a picture of all the money an American team could make off him and say, buy this guy, honestly. Because he would be huge for the US market right now.
Sure.
He would be huge, he'd be huge for them. And when you're seeing, Slippy, we've seen players like Slippy go over to sign for LA Galaxy, who is unknown in the US market, let's be honest. In the market outside of football, he is unknown. You're talking about a guy who is he's a national star team now, isn't he? He's not, surely he transcends football in America now.
Yeah, definitely. The performance against
I was waiting for
Belgium
you
in
to
the
jump
World
in
Cup.
there because you're the bleeding expert on it, Eric. You're supposed to be the bleeding expert.
Well, I would just be worried about signing a contract with NYCFC and then end up playing for Man City, and never making it over here. But
I don't care. Surely Tim Howard
or he could go to LA with his best mate Steven Gerrard.
Surely he could go to America now and earn a fortune and go to
and play every week. And
there's two teams. There's two teams in New York that need DPs.
Keeper. Yeah.
They need DPs, don't they? And what better time for them to buy, and what better time for us to sell? He's got 3 years left on his contract. What better time to sell? Please.
Yeah.
We need a keeper. No matter what, we need a keeper. I'm not trying to sell Tim Howard, although I am.
No.
But we need a keeper for a start. Second on the list is a centre-back. We need a centre-back. Third on the list is we need a centre midfielder who can kick people all day.
John Joe Shelby?
No, because he's crap.
Oh, okay.
Third on the list. We need. I tell you what we need, right? As well. We need a left winger, and when I say left winger, we need a replacement for Steven Pienaar, because although he still plays for Everton, I think he's being bombed out. Basically, he's being bombed out now. I think his
knees are done. I think he's lost the pace, and I just think he's kind of over it.
He's been bombed out. He's on too much money. They'd love to get him off the books. No one wants him. So what we need is a player like Steven Pienaar, who can do that job, who can sit in front of Leighton Baines and will just get on like a house on fire with him. Basically, that is one of, you know what, over the last 12 months.
Could Luke Garbett do that?
Give Luke Garbett a contract, maybe that'll help for a start.
Could Garbett do that? Could Baines play left back and Garbett play in front of him?
Maybe Oviedo can do that as well. We don't know, but maybe Baines could play in front of Luke Garbett. Oh, there's a wealth of possibilities. But what I know is that
options
over the last 12 months, that is one of the biggest areas that we've lost. Is that's one of the biggest things we've lost, is that ability to go forward with Baines and have cover, and also have the ability for us left midfielder who's tricky, who's talented to cut inside. Pienaar has always been one of my favourite players while he's been at the club. When he was at the club in the first time, he wasn't like this warm, fuzzy footballer. He wasn't someone Everton shoved on a poster. And so when he went and asked for the same money Arteta was on, they said no. And I thought, as a player, Pienaar was equally as important as Arteta. In fact, when Arteta was out for a year, Pienaar was the one who stepped up and replaced him. And I've always loved Stephen Pienaar as a player at Everton. The only thing he's never
him on
done
the back of one of my shirts.
He's just never scored enough goals. That's always been his biggest problem. He's just never scored enough goals. But technically, as a footballer, he's been as good as anything Everton have had.
Yep.
You know, for a while. So we need to replace him as a player because he's I think we've missed that link up more than anything. We haven't got the left hand side sorted. We just haven't. The ability, what Pienaar always meant was that he was an attacking presence himself, but he allowed Baines to go forward so fluently and protected him as well at the same time. So we've lost that this season. So it's a bit of a one. We just had a question in as well. It says here's a question about transfers from a relatively new fan to the game. Why is Everton always linked to selling the big stars from the team lock stock every transfer window? Is it because of the history of club of sellers? It has to be unsettling. That was from Ped _Rocks Johnson. The reason that happens is because, yes, Everton have had a tendency for selling the big stars in the last 10 years. And the reason it happens is because it's allowed to happen because Everton aren't strong enough with the media, as far as I'm concerned. Other clubs don't allow it to happen. They almost discipline the media. And this was a conversation I was having with a journalist last night, saying, well, if you ban journalists, you become you look like a paranoid club from the outside. Well, no, right. I don't agree with that. If someone writes something and it's an opinion about your club, and then the club bans you, that to me is a disgrace. That to me is a disgrace. But if people are making up lies about your club and unsettling players, that shouldn't go unpunished as far as I'm concerned. And whoever writes it, or the newspaper it comes from, if they are complete lies, then for me the club should remove some of their privileges. Simple as that. Some of their media privileges, because they are unsettling the fan base.
And give them to you.
Yeah, and give them to me. I just say nice things about the club all the time.
Yes.
Because that's unsettling for me, for a fan base. And if the fan base get unsettled, like we've seen in the last few weeks, it becomes unsettling in social media. And then once it becomes unsettling in social media, you get that infighting, and then that actually ends up on the terraces. Because we're all on social media now. Sure. We all know people from social media. We all interact with people from social media. And yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah. So someone just made a good point on the questions as well. Jared Delafeu. I'd love to have Jared Delafeu back. I think we've missed him this season.
Highly dynamic, quick. He seemed to have got it while he was here. So yeah, definitely think that's a.
Well, it was massively frustrating, but.
He was young.
Had the ability last season to change a lot of these games that we've been losing lately. He had the ability to win these games for us by doing something brilliant, and we just don't have enough of that. You know, we just don't have enough of that.
Yeah.
You just sometimes need play, and that's why we've missed Morales this much this season, is because we haven't had enough of that. And we've seen with Barkley, you know, against QPR, that game was pretty poor till he scored that goal. You play him in his proper position and he can do that.
Yeah. You mentioned Marshall from Cardiff. Thomas Foster on Twitter said, what about Vorm from Spurs or Butland?
Well, Vorm is an interesting one because I do think Spurs bought him because Lloris will probably go in the summer to someone like Real Madrid. They bought him as a backup. Why would the Vorm have left Swansea to go to Spurs to be number 2? I get the feeling that Lloris will move in the summer. Butland, well, he's number 2 at Stoke. Why would we want him? He played in the FA Cup against Wrexham and looked a little bit shaky. There's a lot of calls for Stoke's number 1. I think he's only got 18 months left on his contract, Begovic. But, you know, one Premier League team selling to another, you'd need good money. But the bigger question is, does Roberto Martinez want another new keeper? That seems to be the biggest problem for me.
He
It
does.
doesn't.
He wants Ali Al Habsi.
You ever say that again, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. You ever say that again, I'll kill you.
Good thing there's like 4,000 miles between us. And
We'd have to wait.
you're never coming to Kansas. So
Oh, don't say that. I might come to Kansas.
No, you won't.
We'd have the Wigan 5 then, and the Wigan 4 is bad enough.
Well, if you count Baines, it's already
No,
five.
he's not part of the Wigan 5. No, Eric.
Okay.
He's not
Okay.
part of the Wigan 5. He's a completely independently sourced Wigan player.
Stones was almost at Wigan.
Yeah, almost.
Or
I almost won
Okay.
the lottery once by getting 3 numbers.
out of 6. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Nice. All right. Anything else?
Please win a game.
Yeah. Winning a game would be great for our sanity. And my wife would really love for Everton to win a game.
Yeah,
Just
I think
makes
a lot of
for
people's
happier
lives.
Eric.
I think a
Makes
lot
for
of people's
happier
lives
Eric.
would like. Yeah, makes it happier, everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I did get a sweet purple jacket for Christmas though, so
That's nice. It's nice.
it's all right.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 186 is done. We'll talk to you later. Hopefully after a win against West Ham in the FA Cup, and we're moving on to the 4th round. Come on, you Blues. Let's go.
Baby, 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 ooh.
All right, we'll do a little bit of after hours here on the
Ooh,
live feed. Answer some of these questions. We've got a couple.
after hours with Eric Howell.
No, not just me. Just everybody loved my new setup. Isn't this awesome? Finally decorated my basement here a little bit after almost a year of yellow.
It's after hours with Eric Howell, the
Yes.
night caller.
All right, so
Night caller.
Pink says hi. Why do you think Ross doesn't score goals or create chances despite missing a large portion of the season when he actually plays in his position, not a winger? He is one of the best players on the squad. I would agree with all that.
Mm-hmm. The Stoke, going back to King say hi. The Stoke game was really bad, especially the first half. But calls go against every team. Yes, we know. We've said this.
Yes,
we've had this.
we even said it in the whole game.
We've had
Naismith
this
should have been a penalty.
We know every team gets decisions, but sometimes when you're playing crap, you need decisions to go for you
Yes.
to win games when you're playing poorly, and then sometimes that helps gain confidence for the next game. And what we're saying is that there's been at least 7 times this season, which is more than any other team can say, where the opposition should have had players sent off and didn't. In times in the game that would have affected the game. That could be 7 games where we could have got an extra 15 points. Now, if we had an extra 15 points, we would be
37.
Yeah, we'd be way up there. That's what we're saying. We're just saying that there are times when you win when you don't deserve to win, and those games have been taken away from us this season. So therefore, if it had been 1 or 2 teams times, fair enough. But we're talking about as a whole. We're talking about the referees being absolutely crap. Jimmy ESC, if you had another chance to interview Roberto now, what would you ask him?
I'd ask him what changed.
I'd ask him a lot of things. I'd probably ask him why we're so terrible on set pieces. I'd ask him why...
Because that's cheating, Ped. You know that.
I'd ask him why the preseason was so bad. Why he elected to do the preseason how he elected.
Because he was too busy in Brazil, man.
I'd ask him why he picks certain players. I'd ask him why he persists on playing the style he plays when we're in trouble. Just things like I'd ask him, and I'd also ask him why is the team so nice? Basically.
Right. Is there any chance of getting tickets to an away match without any credits? Jimmy EFC is asking.
Jimmy.
You got to know somebody.
No, listen, away tickets are like gold dust. They really are. And what is happening is we're getting this culture of a lot of fans going to away games. and they love it. Listen, they love it. Got no problem with that. They love the away games.
It was a
So,
blast. Wigan away was a lot of fun when I was over there 3 years ago.
so what tends to happen is people know that you need a lot of credits for away games. So the games that they don't go to, they buy the tickets anyway. And they tend to
And
just sell them on Twitter basically. So if there's a particular game you want to go to,
just look
an
a
away
couple of
game,
games, a couple of days before the match.
have a look on Twitter or tweet
StubHub.
us. Tweet no, never use StubHub. Never ever use StubHub. Just don't. I'm not. No, don't. I'm not giving them any advertising. I don't give it. It's touting. I don't care what anyone says. It's touting. Go on Twitter, tweet us. We'll retweet it for you, and someone might get in touch and say, "I've got 2 tickets here," and they'll sell you them at face value. That's what tends to happen. People just want to go to away games, so buy tickets and don't worry about it. So just go on Twitter and have a look, or tweet us. We'll retweet it, and I bet you get a couple of tickets for whatever game you want to go to. As long as if it's a game that is like a really really big club, then you might miss out. But that's a good way. I can't.
Then King says hi. Last question here says, is Samuel Eto'o still alive? Wasn't he getting more games? I think I remember hearing in the past something about the contract structure for Eto'o, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ped, but if he starts a certain number of matches, then it automatically triggers a second year in his contract or a third year in his contract.
I don't
Any
know.
chance that has anything to do with it?
No. I think he's played loads. I think he's played loads this season. I think he's played. He started against Southampton, didn't he? He started against Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
He tends to play a lot of away games. And don't forget, this is a lad who's like, 34, 35, who's at the tail end of his... he can't play every single game, and when he plays... he plays, he isn't that effective anyway. So,
right.
So...
All right.
Yeah,
well, that does it
Thanks
for the
your
after
questions.
hours. Everybody, thanks for tuning in and interacting. Much appreciated. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, guys.